After a series of anonymous clues, members of the SignetCraft server uncovered a derelict, seemingly abandoned mineshaft. There, amidst the neglect and decay that plagued all visible to the eye, lay a portal, its light beckoning them through in an almost entracing fashion. Mesmerized, each member obeyed, stumbling mindlessly through the portal. It may have been instinct, perhaps luck, but some clarity in K-Man's mind drove him in search of a village. The same instinct that drew K-Man towards the village initiated somewhere within Who Knows, with him, too, emerging to the edge of the village. With K-Man having disturbed the indigenous protector of the village, he was forced to respawn, reevaluating his plans and instead concentrating on gathering resources. As the first night set in on the SignetHunt server, K-Man returned to the village, settling down in an abandoned hut, still dazed, begging in a half-asleep state that he might see clarity in his mind, that he might remember who he was, and why he was here. With his mind no clearer than it had been the night before, K-Man persisted into the day ahead. K-Man pressed on, his strength renewed and his plans evolving. To test his renewed resolve, I released a creeper, sidetracking his attempts to tame an entrapped horse and instead demonstrating his renewed fighting strength. Distractions having been dealt with, K-Man mounted his now tamed steed in search of food. K-Man, sensing it was time to leave the village, again mounted his horse and courageously journeyed, once again, into the unknown. Meanwhile, above in a higher section of the village, Doug harvested resources. He had always been a strategist, clearly whilst his memory had been effaced. His instincts had been preserved. This interested me, the idea that whilst you could erase someone's surface memory, certain predispositions would always be retained. With alliances beginning to emerge, Doug and K-Man felt that in order to withstand the might and prowess of emerging alliances elsewhere in the server, they had to combine forces. Elsewhere on the server, React patrolled the upper regions of the map. His genius demonstrated through his armor, his skin, each perfectly acclimatized to his surroundings. Stealth was usually my specialty, however, I felt slight admiration when I observed him, appearing invisible to the untrained eye. Now it was made why Doug and K-Man had allied. Whilst I had been watching them on the other side of the map, outside of my sight, an alliance, if not a bond, had formed between React and Little Duckling. A bond of strength I had not witnessed between anyone else on the map. React descended into a cave system. Deep within was located a room, clandestinely hidden, in which he strategically stored his valuables, leaving all above ignorant of their whereabouts. Outside in the clearing, hostility arose. Doug and K-Man emerged as powerful, tenacious, and adept swordmen. Nevertheless, they were overpowered by the combined light of React and Little Duckling. In the wake of the conflict, React seemingly began to scout the terrain in order to possibly locate his newfound enemy's settlement. To React's ignorance, he had not returned home alone. Doug, whom I noted was the most adroit swordsman among the server members, had pursued React in an attempt to get vengeance for his earlier failed attack. The fight drew on, Doug persisting regardless of the odds, demonstrating tenacity in the wake of an unwinnable situation. However, determination wasn't enough to secure a victory against React and Little Duckling, with Doug once again overpowered and slain by the combined force of their swords and marksmanship. Conversely, elsewhere on the map, K-Man began designing a new base of operations. A final conflict emerged on the border between territories, this one more short-lived than the ones I'd witnessed in the preceding days. As the day once again drew to a close, React fortified his base, the setting sun signifying a cease in hostility throughout the server. But as with all sunsets, a bitter night lay ahead. React appeared a bit uneasy. I felt unsettled. In that moment, I questioned what was running through his head, what he could remember. He relaxed. I calmed myself. They were all ignorant to the bitter night I had prepared for them. The sun breached the tree line, then fell further, plunging the map into darkness. Where once there was sunlight, only now remained the shadow